We send it out. Anyway, welcome for our new clubs and I think Julie helped me. Is there 5 or 6 so far this season? I don't remember. We've got 5 or 6 new clubs starting up. Welcome to you guys. My name's Jimmy Payton. I'm the old CEO. Been doing this. I really haven't counted. I think it's over 30 years now. But I'm still able to wake up in the morning, so it's pretty good. We're going to go pretty much on agenda. Again, I'm asking everybody to mute yourselves unless you're called on, or if you have a question, send it over the chat function on your right-hand side. Julie, one of our staff, will pick it up and either text me or let me know. And she's telling me we have 7 new clubs to date, and I think we had one more actually email me today about starting one. So that's 8. I think it's around 65 clubs in the region so far. So looks like we're going to have a good year. We had 4 or 5 clubs decided not to participate last year due to COVID. And so welcome them back. And I cannot believe we're into another season already. So we're going to hopefully have a good season, provided COVID doesn't do a number on us through the season. So with that said, I'm going to start off with just a couple of housekeeping things. If you guys will make notes of some of these things, I'd like for you to check online. Kim updated the PVA directory and check and see if your information is correct on that directory, because for the majority of kids and families, they're going to be checking that directory for contact information. So make sure we have your information, your telephone numbers, website if you've got one, Facebook if not, is correct. And if it's not, email Kim, and we'll talk about how to find everybody. But there's a link on our website that says contact us. Pretty much gives you all of our staff, which we'll introduce here in a minute. So email her and copy me with any changes, because I'll need to change it in my master. With that said, we're going to jump down the agenda a little bit to Richard Scott. Richard is our rep with Baden Volleyball for, I don't know how many years, 4, 5, 6 years. We've contracted with them to give a special deal to clubs. We pass that along at our cost so that you guys can get a good price on balls or equipment. And I'm going to let him turn that over. Richard, I'm going to think I've put in those prices into our document. So
okay.
Richard, I'm going to introduce Richard Scott. Richard, you're out of California?
We're out of Washington State, up in the Northwest.
Yes, yes. Okie doke. So you guys should be able to see my screen, and right here is the pricing that's not on your stuff, but I'm going to send this out because he just sent it to me today. So as he talks, you can look at this stuff. Richard, go. And then if guys got questions, stick it in chat.
All right.
Let me interrupt. Sorry. If it's personal stuff, like something about your club or something like that, send us a chat or an email, and we'll get you in touch with him so he can help you.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. Hey, welcome everybody. I think this is the first time, and we've been partnered with Palmetto for many, many, many years. So I think this is the first time that someone from Baden has been on the call. So it's something that we're doing with every region. I know that last year we tried to be on this call, and it was a timing thing. I didn't get a link. I probably didn't do it right. Jimmy sent me all the right stuff. So being three hours off, just a matter of just making sure I've got the time frames correct. Anyways, we do a lot of work with a lot of regions, a lot of partnerships. Last 2 years has been super crazy. We know it as a manufacturer and a provider of sporting goods equipments. When COVID hit, we were hit quite a bit across the board in every sport. We build volleyballs, softballs, basketballs, baseballs, soccer balls, footballs. We build everything. But my job is volleyball. I am the director of volleyball globally. So when we deal with international, new product development, anything US, or it's all lands on me. I do have a network of support team out in the field, not only at corporate, but nationally as well. So COVID's been a crazy time. And I think this year, I'm going to be optimistic. And one thing that I try to do that's been a real divider for a lot of us is this whole COVID thing. Last year, there was a lot of delays. Everything was pushed off to the spring. Tournaments were consolidated into a period of 3 or 4 months, so it made it difficult for teams to travel if they were playing anyway. So one thing I've done is I was the COVID updater about who's playing college, high school, club across the country for my entire company. I kind of took that on, but what it did also was prepared me for this year. I'm here to tell you, unless you guys are seeing something different, our fingers are crossed. We see no key indicators right now that volleyball is slowing down whatsoever. NCAA, USAV, we're all looking at each other going, do you see anything? Do you see anything? No, we don't. We have to stay optimistic that these club seasons are going to go off. You guys get to play. These athletes get back on the court. These players start playing. It's a real pivotal point right now in volleyball coming back. I don't want to get into the other sports, but all the other sports are just the same. But volleyball is coming back, and we see no slowing down. And if you guys see something, I mean, I'd love to hear from you at some point. A quick text, a quick email. Let me know. Hey, we see some slowing here. We see some words here. I would like to know, because what it does, it allows me to then work with the clubs and the regions and the partners that we work with to come up with some ideas that keep this momentum going. So anyways, but right now we're looking good with a few quirks coming up this season. And I'm going to hopefully, without boring you, hopefully you'll take some notes, because some of the things that I'll present to you, I think you'll need to keep them in the back of your mind and keep them on your to-do list and say, hey, we've got to be prepared for this. So Baden's doing great. We furloughed lots of people when COVID hit. We still have not brought a majority of them back. We're working on a very veteran skeleton crew, but we're doing well. A lot of cutbacks and letting people go. A lot of people that retired. So we've got a pretty strong crew right now, even skeleton crew of just nothing but veterans, people that have been with Baden for 10, 15, 25 years. Your personal rep is going to be Todd Tice. Todd reports to me, but Todd has been with Baden for 20, he's old. Not as old as me though, 23 and a half years he's been with Baden. If you guys need anything, his email is todd@badensports.com. When it comes to ordering stuff, he is your guy. I always work with Todd on a backup level if we need to make certain adjustments and things with clubs and deals, but Todd's your guy. You've got a great veteran supporting you guys as volleyball comes back. So a little thing about me, I've been in the volleyball world for many years. My kids play. They've been playing since they were 9. One got a college scholarship to play. The other one's just graduating high school. They're both amazing players. They don't get that from me. They get that from their, my wife and their coaches. So any of the bad stuff lands on me, but they're amazing players. COVID killed volleyball for both of them. They both are not playing in college now. They're all about education, but I've been doing volleyball a long time. And when COVID hit, it hit us across the board. I'm not done yet. There's a lot of partners we have out there, a lot of friends, a lot of clubs and everything that need the support of the strength, strength of our team to keep going as sports comes back. We want to be there. So I've got a lot of volleyball experience, a lot of knowledge. I know a lot of people, and we've got a really good name for ourselves. And I think you will find that across the board where you go with volleyball. So anyways, like I said, we partner with colleges, high schools, clubs. We have 7 USAV region partners. We are not the official ball of the USAV, but we certainly do have a lot of strong partnerships. Palmetto being one of them for many years. So we're partners with AAU. We're partners with all the college conferences and 15, getting ready to be 16 high school associations as well. So we have, our ball is to not, our job is to not be specific, but we are partners with everybody. We want to support volleyball and these athletes, especially as they get back on the court. Let's see. As you may have noticed, volleyball is going to come back. This club season is going to come back. And one thing, I've got years of business behind me, and I think the biggest thing, and tell me if I'm wrong, everyone's got to watch their budget. It's a big deal these years, and especially coming back as we all begin to start playing. Volleyball is a big deal, and your budgets are important to us. And I know that we're going to be here when you're ready to go. And I know where you guys are. You're going to watch what you spend. You're going to watch what you buy. My job is to say, hey, let us teach you how to get the use of what you have. Don't buy stuff you don't need. If we can not send you a brand new cart, but a replacement liner, you just saved yourself $150. Those types of things are going to be very key and very vital this year. We cut back a lot of partnerships. We got rid of every D1 school but 3. So our focus right now is on our clubs and our high schools and our 7 region partners. Palmetto region has the best. I'm telling you right now, our pricing went up this year. I didn't touch it with you guys. I made clear to Jimmy, we are good with you guys till May of 2022. You guys have the best pricing of anybody now in the country, even better than dealers. I probably shouldn't have told you that, but you need to know that. We have not cut back our support for the Palmetto region and what you guys do. The only thing that we're going to adjust this year is shipping. There'll be shipping charges on all of our stuff, but a lot of your balls come right out of South Carolina. So you're still in the driver's seat. Jimmy's got pricing up here. There's only going to be a couple of variations in pricing, like our carts. They come out of China. We've seen a big shot in tariff raise in prices. A lot of our competitors are doing their manufacturing overseas. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see a lot of delays in product if you're using those. Our product is produced in the Dominican Republic, which is considered North America, right off 660 miles off the coast of Florida. We build our own volleyball. And when we ship it right into South Carolina. And then it goes right into Spartanburg. That's our distribution center for the Midwest and the East Coast. So any balls that you order are coming right out of there. My big thing is we have a big rush of balls because we're finding out that Tachikara, Wilson, these other providers are out of balls. So everyone's coming to us and they're buying everything that we have, literally everything. But we've got more stuff coming in and it comes in quick. We only experience maybe 2 or 3 week delay at that, but others, they're experiencing month delays as well as product and raw materials to build their stuff. So trust me, we've been fighting our way through this, but we are in pretty good shape. We've got a whole new load of balls coming in, which is going to be perfect timing for club. And again, I think you guys are holding off a little bit, which is good. Let us help you maximize what you need this year without spending frivolously and buying stuff that you don't need. Get the most use out of what you got. Couple of things that you're going to keep. I think you guys play at your regional championships with the Lexan ball. Is that right, Jimmy? Our composite?
The composite ball. Yes.
Gotcha. So a new ball we came out with, folks, is our All-American. I'll tell you right now, we built this ball. The light shows it wherever we are here. We built this ball to compete with the Molten L2. And I'll bring my competitors up because this is why this ball came out. We have leather to leather. We have the L2. We never had an L2. We had our composite ball, which was not a leather-like. This ball we just came out with, we can't keep it in stock, but we've got a lot of them coming in. It's probably our best priced ball. It's a composite leather material. It's built identical to our Lexan and our leather ball, but it's got more of that leather feel. It's an amazing ball. We've had great success. It's been played with in competitions and tournaments. I'm sure that you went to some of these tournaments, you played with this ball. Amazing ball if you're looking at budget. Another ball would be our rally ball. Amazing ball. That ball, I mean, we've gone up in price. We're going to honor that price for all you guys. this year as well. If you're really watching budget and need balls in your gym, those are going to be the 2 balls, with this ball being number 1. Beach ball, we've got our Beach Elite. If you guys haven't played with our beach ball yet, we designed this. Professionals helped us design this ball. Beach is a big growing part of volleyball, especially with club. This Beach Elite ball, it's got a slightly raised seam. It's got an 18 panel configuration like an indoor ball. NAIA just chose this ball as their official beach ball for their college, all their college championships. AVCA, we're the official beach ball of them as well. We're also the official beach ball. I know it's, taboo, but it's still a volleyball. And I know that you guys play, but AAU, we're big partners with them as well. We support everybody across the board, but building a great product and build a great ball for your clubs to play with is what we do. We want to build you guys a great product, no matter where you're playing. So those are going to be these, still the Lexan ball is probably our longest lasting volleyball of all times. And again, we've got our leather perfection ball, which I know that we work with a lot of you guys on our perfection ball. So anyways, I won't keep going, but I'm just here to tell you we're ready to work with you guys. You guys have the best pricing in the country. I'm telling you right now, we didn't change it. And I made that commitment to Jimmy this year. We're not going to touch it. Same with our other regions. We're not touching them. I don't care what you are, what you're doing, and where you're playing. We're ready to help support you guys when you guys are ready. And the last thing is I also serve on the board of directors up here for the USAV Puget Sound region as well. So been a board member, been negotiating where we're going to go with club. We had a rough year, the rough 18 months, and I think we're all excited to get back on the court. So a lot of experience in what we do. Here to help you guys and be a supporter and a great partner as best we can. So Jimmy will send you a copy of our club catalog. He's going to send you a copy of our All-American ball, as well as our Beach Elite ball. Any questions, get a hold of me. Jimmy, send my information along with that if you can. My email is Richard S, as in Scott, @boddensports.com. Todd is your first point contact, but if he can't get a hold of you, you can call me and then I'll yell at Todd for you. So anyways.
Richard, 2 quick questions.
Yes.
How long does it take for shipping? And did you find out if there's a possibility of our region picking up in the Spartanburg facility to avoid shipping?
I'm working on that still. I have not sent the email out to Casey. Casey Schindler, he is our chief operating officer, actually family. He is just coming back from the Dominican right now as we ramp up production. But I'm gonna send that email to him. The last 2 years it was a no, but we've changed the way we do things in Spartanburg. So okay. What I'll do is I'll confirm with him and follow back up with you if we can go and direct and pick like a will call up.
And then the last question is, I forgot the answer to this, but what's the minimum order and the time frame if a club wants their name pre-printed on the ball?
A custom ball or just a standard order?
I thought, no, not a custom ball, standard order, but there was, it seems like there was a certain minimum number of balls and then a time frame in order to have time to get it in.
That's a great point. So if a lot of you have used our customized, we do fully custom balls in our factory. And what we do is, you guys all know, there's probably anywhere, between a 60 to 100 day leeway, depending on when you get your order in. That's going to be about the same, but our minimum quantity, in order to make our production more efficient, has gone up quite considerably. And it's something that, again, let's blame this on this darn COVID thing. We've had to increase our production capabilities at our factory versus doing these small orders. We had to do bigger orders, but we have domestic custom right here in our headquarters in the Northwest. So that's probably maximum 2 to 3 weeks out. You send in your order, get it paid. We then put you on the list, and we have 3 different customization processes. It's a stamp, it's a fully color, a full graphic logo on your ball, or it's a decal that goes on that doesn't affect the playability of the ball. But I'll tell you right now, we've got a full color printer that prints 12 volleyballs at a time. It's the size of a truck. Beautiful work. You can get really detailed with it, but we can do all that here. 2 to 3 weeks maximum on that. And I believe the minimum is 24 balls.
Okay. Thank you,
Jimmy.
Yes.
Nikki has a question in the chat wondering if they price match on products.
We price match on product. It depends on the product, of course. We will try our best to price match. I don't want to.
I would suggest that Nikki email us and we'll copy them with the specifics on that. We'll ask them. We'll find out.
Okay. And I think my long story short was, I don't think you're going to find anybody that's going to match the pricing that you guys get. But on some of the stuff like carts, we have the best cart in the market, and it's going to be priced a little bit higher. That's probably one of those things we won't price match, but we'll certainly do our best to, to come in line with what you're seeing from other providers.
Okay. Thank you, Richard.
Okay. And I'll stay on the call, Jimmy, for a while. I'd love to hear what you guys talk about and all that stuff. So,
okay.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time. I'll go on mute.
Sue, your own. Everybody, Sue Dillon is our chair for our board of directors. And I think we have all the board of directors on. I'll let her introduce them except for Chuck. And he's the coach at Winthrop. So I'm guessing he's in the middle of doing something about volleyball. Sue?
Thanks, Jimmy. If I say their name, can they say something so their picture pops up?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so thanks everybody for taking your Sunday evening with us. I'll make it quick. Like Jimmy said, I'm the chair for the region. It's only been since last spring. I've really enjoyed it, but we've been very busy through COVID. It's been very busy. Our board works very well together. We have a really good mix of directors, college coaches, and referees. So I'll just go through them real quick. Kim Crispin, can you pop your head in somewhere?
Yeah, that's me.
There she is. Kim is our secretary for the region, and she takes care of all our notes, and she takes care of the policy governance paperwork as well. Also, she's our PVA webmaster, and she takes care of all the tournaments. If you're taking care of tournaments, you've most likely spoken to Kim. Then we have Suzanne Dodd. Is she in here?
She is.
Hey, everybody.
There she is. Hey, Suzanne. A lot of you have probably seen her at tournaments. Suzanne's an excellent referee. She's been with us, I think, since 2018, I think. Is that right? I'm not sure. But she's a national ref. She's with USAV and PAVO. She's also been an arbiter for the USAV Nationals. So we're really happy to have her with us. She's a really good voice for us when it comes to all of any kind of issues we have with referees or anything. She's been a really, really big asset for us. Chuck, of course, Chuck Ray is the head coach at Winthrop College. He's also been a great voice. Having a D1 college coach on the board really has helped us. He's extremely busy, I'm sure, too. And is Gwen on? Gwen Wilcher?
Supposed to be.
She probably is. If you hear me, Gwen, just pop in whenever you see it. Gwen is also one of our board members, and she is the director and a coach at Columbia Starling. So like I said, we've been very busy, but working really well together. And then that's all I really have as far as, for myself. I also did the juniors outdoor tournaments, and I'm sorry if I annoyed you too much with it, but it went really well, and we'll cover that later in the call.
So you want to give folks just a 1-minute quick summary of what the board does?
1 minute, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, they went to a policy governance about, what was it, how long ago? 7 years ago, I think. And
Yeah.
basically the board, we all meet on a pretty regular basis, and we meet on emergency situations as well, but we meet on a pretty regular basis, and we go over any issues the regions are having. Every year we have to go over ends and limitations, and we actually rate Jimmy, and we go over if he's meeting all his duties, and so far it's been very good, Jimmy, very good. But that's basically what we do. It's a lot of paperwork, red tape stuff, but it's basically just everything that the policy governance stands for. And Kim actually has the policy governance available if anybody'd like to see the paperwork for that, what that actually involves. I won't take the time to go into that. It's just, but it is explained in the paperwork that Kim has available if you're interested.
Thank you, Sue. Folks, our board is available to you guys through an email. You'll see in the screen now, board@palmettovb.com. So if you have issues, you can email them. I want to say when I started this job, it was really a volunteer job years and years ago, and it was maybe 5 clubs in the state, something like that, under 200 players. And we've, the saying goes, we've come a long way, baby. It really has. And we've got a tremendous group of staff. Most have been with us multiple years and do an outstanding job in their assignments. We spend money, where your money goes when you buy a membership. We actually spend out all but about $2 of that. Well, actually, 20 of the $50 that's spent for a membership, $20 goes to USAV, and we keep 30, and 30 is spent on services and benefits back to clubs, all but about $2. So we work on a pretty thin budget. But I want to introduce them. Kim, pop back on again. This lady, I told her last week, I think she has more full-time jobs than anybody. Kim is our tournament director. She handles tournament questions, AES, et cetera, stuff like that. And she's also our webmaster. Throw your hand back up, Kim, there, say hey.
Hey, guys.
Kirsten, are you on? Miss Bosnick, are you on?
Sorry, I was muted. Here I am.
Oh, there she is. Okay. She is our long distance staff person. Remind me again, up north somewhere.
Boston.
Yes. But she does such a great job that we have kept her on through the years. And literally, she handles Sports Engine and knows more about it than I do, because I actually nominated her to be on the USAV committee when they were developing it, handling questions, stuff like that. So now she's actually working for 2 regions, doing stuff like that. And so she works remotely, but responds to everybody very promptly. She has a full schedule too. She's an official, and she's over our clinics, which we'll hear from her in a little bit. She has a segment on it, but take a big wave, lady. You're good. Beach and outdoor, you just heard from Sue. Say again, hey. If you know Sue, she's been around the region a long time, and you know her in the outdoor world also, because she not only hosted a lot of tournaments, but promotes our beach and outdoor, and you're going to hear about that in a little bit. We're trying to get bigger and better on beach and outdoor, and she'll tell you about this year coming up. Our social media is a open position. You may have seen something about that in our newsletters. We're looking for somebody to fill that. You need to be very experienced. So if you know of someone, have them send a resume to me. Julie, will you pop on?
I'm here. Hello.
Yeah, push your camera down a little bit. We see your hair.
Oh. There I am.
Julie's kind of my assistant. She does a little bit of everything. So she's one of the primary jobs is helping new clubs get started, stay on track, answer questions, hold their hand basically for the first season. So she also handles our newsletters, both the director's desk, you'll hear about in a little bit, and the region resource. All of our board members, you just was on. Gwen, I noticed you popped on. You want to pop on and let them see your face? Do you have video? I think she did. Gwen? Okay. Louise, are you on yet? I don't think he's on. I've got him scheduled for a little bit later. He's our officials chair. It deals directly with officials, scheduling them, answering questions, assigning, stuff like that. Of course, myself. Now, here's my request. My wife would like to have a family life, so keep calls and texts to between business hours. I can't tell you the number that I've got up to 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I'm not really a happy camper if they come in that late. So If you text me, keep it within hours. Email anytime. If it's coming from you, in the subject line, put CD to start with. I know it gets prioritized, so you get a quicker response. Julie, you're up on director's desk and explaining that and the importance of that in the region resource.
Okay, well, hey guys, again, my camera's fixed now. I do the newsletters, the director's desk and the region resource, both of which come out on a weekly or every other week basis. You should have gotten a couple. If you haven't gotten any, please make sure that you send an email to me at the Palmetto Volleyball at gmail.com address, because I am actually today I was working on updating the contact list for that. And some of you probably got emails from me. There are some important sections. The top is what you really need to focus on, because that's anything new. Anything that comes below that, we may refer you to it from that top section. So if you want to know more, read this section. We will try to keep it short and sweet, but sometimes it's just hard to do that. If there's ever a question about anything that's in there, again, contact me. We do have a reminder section where we move items from previous weeks down so that it's still there and you can access it, but it's not necessarily something that needs your immediate attention. It's just a, hey, don't forget to do this. We try to have an information section or best practices. We use the Art of Coaching a lot, which I don't know if Jimmy's going to talk to you about memberships. I'm sure he is. It's an excellent resource. And then we have quick links, anything from getting insurance for your practice facilities to forms for claims or anything like that. That's at the very bottom section of the director's desk. The region resources for all members, you should also be getting that. And again, contact me if you don't. We recommend that you as club directors forward that on to your members so that you can make sure that they get it. And we do have a feature in there where they can subscribe to it if they're not getting it. Well, they should be, but if they're not, or let's say one person from a family is getting it, like mom, but mom and dad both want to get it, then they can sign up to receive it. But these are your primary sources of information for the region. Anything that you need to know, anything you need to do, that's going to be in those newsletters. So please read them. I will tell you that oftentimes I know mine comes to my promotions section of my email, and I don't always check my promotions section of my email. If you're like me, then you're probably getting hundreds of those emails. So just on Sundays, or when we typically send out these newsletters. So if you don't get something, maybe just give it a quick scan and see. And if you feel like you've missed something or you're missing a deadline, again, just reach out and I will be glad to help you.
And then let me say this to all the directors and if you've got club admin in your club, please add them to this to the email contact list. Send it to Julie. It's critical that you at least read that required reading. That's what's coming up that's important that club directors want to know. The director's desk was created, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago to kind of tell you, what's important coming up in the next week or two that you need to take care of. And the past issues should be on the website. If not, they're going to be updated quick or soon, and those will be updated usually once a week. So if you're looking at it and it's got a little summary of what it's about, if you want to go back in some past issues and read them, do that.
Quick note, Jimmy, in order to access those, you do have to have signed on as a director on Sports Engine. There's instructions on how to do that at the bottom of the director's desk as well. So you can't access the archive of director's desks without having seen the instructions on the director's desk. So if that's ever an issue, again, just email would be good.
Okay. Sheila Yarnell, are you on? Can you pop up?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm here.
This is Sheila, to put a face with a name. Sheila handles a good many of the tournaments hotel reservations online. And I'll let her give you just a quick overview. She handles our regionals. I know handles mine for Southern Classic. some of Kim's and Lance's and stuff like that. So Sheila, anything you want to say and suggestions for the club directors?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Like Jimmy said, I'm handling, so I've been working with Kim and Greg for a long time on her. So I'm doing January Jam, Beach Ball Bash, Jimmy's Southern Classic Club Power, and the CSRA Winter Heat in March, and then of course the 2 championships. So a little busy. I think the best communication though is to make sure that when the clubs are formed, when the teams are formed, that everyone has the links for the tournaments. Very, very important. And that, we're still dealing with COVID this year, unfortunately. So, also making sure that, pretty much the way hotels are handling COVID for the upcoming year is that some type of doctor's note or school note or something needs to be provided if they're going to be canceling, outside of their parameters, so they don't lose their first night's deposit, or, if it's last minute, if it's within those 2 or 3 days prior to the tournament. So it can be, something from the school saying, your child has been exposed and needs to quarantine. It's not just an automatic, we're not going to charge you if you say, you've been exposed. They want proof now. So, we'll work through those. My email contact is on all of the websites. I get all the emails on changes. So if people are reaching out to you saying they can't change anything, please just direct them to myself. You don't have to handle any of that. If teams want to stay together, have them reach out to me as well. I can set up and show them how to set up, a group block within, like a sub block within the tournaments, so that everyone can stay together. The more teams that we get within these hotel blocks, the better we can negotiate future rates. And the better, we can prove economic impact to keep rates down for, the centers and things like that when Jimmy and Kim and Lance go to negotiate these contracts with the center. So very, very important to, get as many as we can within the blocks. If anyone has any questions, I'm always available by text, phone, email. So looking forward to a good season.
Thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
Send them to her. To my knowledge, I think the championships are the only state of play. But I can tell you this, in negotiating with the hotels for years and years, for the most part, and it's pretty easy to check this, you'll find that our negotiations for room blocks are less than what you can get on some, calling them direct or stuff like that. So hopefully it'll help you. That stuff will be up on the website, which Kim probably will mention in a minute. Lance, are you on? Lance Abbott is our brain of the region, and he is so good with the rankings. I'm not sure I still understand it after years and years, but Lance, all you, buddy.
All right. Well, okay, I'll take that, Jimmy, and no pressure, right? So we've been running these rankings since about 2014 now. So we've done 8 years worth of them, and I've picked up a bunch of things over the years, and one of them is, I get lots of questions over the season. Why doesn't my team aren't they ranked higher than this team? They finished higher at this tournament. All these different things, and if you have those questions, send them on to me. I usually try and take a look. There is an FAQ and information out on the Palmetto website about how all the rating systems work, and I highly advise you read it first because it helps. The couple of tips that people keep asking for is, hey, I've got a really top level team, but they don't show up where I think they should be. And I would say that the 2 things you need to keep in mind, no matter what level of team, is the more you play in region tournaments, because those are the ones that we track, the more accurate your results are. So if you think you're a top team, but you only played once in region and you played at a small tournament without good competition, then it's going to be really hard for your rating to be as accurate as you would like it to be. And the other thing is, if you're a top level power team and you think you're one of the top 3 or 4 in the region, make sure you play at the bigger tournaments and make sure you play against the top competition, play up in age, or do something to demonstrate that you are really that strong a team. I'm asked every year about accepting out of region results as well, and we do that. If you go to the region website, palmettoregionvb.org/results, it has instructions there about how to submit out of region results and deadlines and things. And just really quickly, we only care about results against other PVA teams. You have to send them to me, the director at CSRA Heat, and we ask that you CC the other team's directors so that they get to see that you're submitting results as well. They have to be submitted by Wednesday following the event, because I don't want to go back in time a month and a half and try and redo ratings. If you submit it by 10 a.m. Sunday morning, then the week prior, then we will consider them for the next week's tournament. But we're trying to do the ratings and the seedings earlier and earlier. So, Jimmy wants them out as early as possible because the parents want them out as early as possible. So if you get them to me, there's a chance that we can get them in. There is a link as well for the Excel file to submit things. And the other thing is, you can't just submit your wins for the weekend. You have to submit all your results. So if you play in a tournament and you win 1 against a really good team and lose 3 against some others, if you're going to submit the win, you got to submit all the losses too. That's only fair. So that's all I got, Jimmy. If people have questions, just shoot me an email at director@csrheat.com.
Thanks, Lance. Folks, I'll say this, this isn't a exact science, but the system that he's got was so impressive. I know that USAV asked about it and looked into it about using it for a national ranking system. So we're thankful of what he's doing, and Lance's been doing it for a long time, and it seems to work. It's not exact, but it's pretty darn close. All right. This is just a question that comes up from time to time, boys playing on girls teams. Hopefully, some of you guys don't know, but we've invested a significant amount of money into the boys in South Carolina, specifically in helping high school teams, encourage them, support them, give them some grant money to have a boys team. We hope that in turn will enhance the boys' interest and come to you guys and clubs. We really feel like this is a untapped market and growth. And we hope that each of you will go out and try to do some marketing to get boys, have a individual boys teams. And there's a number of clubs. Matter of fact, if you guys that have boys teams in the past, put your club name in the chat so people can see it. We're still on a growing curve, but there's probably a handful that has specific just boys teams. But if you want a boy to play on a girls team, here's the deal. 12 and under can play same age on a girls team. 13U has to play up 2 years. 14U this year is only being allowed on a per person approval basis. We've had some problems in the past on 14s get to where they're some of them's pretty darn good. And of course, we're concerned about safety first. So there's the deal on that. Any questions, place it in chat. We'll come back and answer it soon. But I highly encourage you to please try to promote boys in your area. Get the girls to, ask their boyfriends, brothers, blah, 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 and see if you can put together a young boys team so we can play them. And we'll create a division for boys. All right, back to Kim. Probably, if not the most discussed and questions about is our tournaments and how it works, how you register, blah, blah, blah. Kim, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, sure. So we have all of our tournaments set up in AES already. Registration is not open yet, but it will open on October 15th. We know that's before tryouts for a lot of you. You may not know yet what teams you're going to have. That's okay. You can start registering on October 15th if you have a pretty good idea of what you're going to have. I would encourage you to go ahead and register. If you want to wait until right after tryouts, that's fine too. But we do encourage you to register as soon as you possibly can. I know there's a ton of stuff going on during tryouts and all that, but it is really important that you register so that we know how many teams are wanting to go to these tournaments. If we see that there's a huge demand and possibly not enough gym space, you know, one weekend, then we may try and add gyms or add a division somewhere else, shift things around to try to accommodate as many people as possible. We did have tournaments last year and in years past that they do fill and they have wait lists. We accept teams based on when they are paid, not when they're registered. So we do want you to register as soon as possible, but then if you really, really want to get into a tournament, you probably need to go ahead and pay as soon as you can. We will have tournaments that will fill and you may not get in if you don't pay, you know, when you register. We do ask that you please review the drop guidelines and the penalties for those. It's actually a little bit further down in Jimmy's notes, so we'll get to that, I'm sure. But you are required to notify us, and as you get closer to the tournament date, you need to notify by email and by phone and make sure that you speak to someone so that we know. Especially with this year, hopefully it won't be as bad with COVID drops and things like that, fingers crossed, but you know, it might be. So if you are having to pull a team out, we need to know as soon as possible, especially so we can try to, you know, adjust schedules and things like that if we're that close to the tournament. In order to register, especially if you're new here, you will need to build out your teams in AES, or you can build them in Sports Engine and then import them over to AES. There are benefits to doing it either way. So if you have questions about it, feel free to reach out. If you're having trouble with it, I know we had a lot of issues in the beginning when we started using Sport Engine. So if you have questions or trouble, feel free to reach out to either myself or Kirsten also knows a ton about Sports Engine. So we can help you out there.
Yeah, let me mention this. We're, somebody spoke about this, maybe you or Kirsten or Julie, but we're going to have a separate Zoom meeting explaining more about Sports Engine, how to register for AES, how to upload, all that stuff, the workings of that. So that will be coming out. It'll help some directors.
Okay.
And Jimmy, there's a question in the chat from Dave. It says, is there a way to prioritize the PVA clubs over the out-of-state clubs for tournaments?
No, yes, there's a way, but we accept teams. We don't make a distinction on that for numerous reasons, but we have always gone on a first pay basis, regardless in or out of region.
Okay, and once you register for tournaments, if you have any changes you need to make, you will not be able to do that yourself as a club director. You need to contact us. The email address is here, tournaments@palmettovb.com. So if you have a team that, I mean, we always have a few every year, you know, maybe you thought you were going to have a team and then it kind of fell apart after tryouts. We need to remove them from tournaments, or you have a team you thought was going to be one age group and now it's a different age group. We can help you with, you know, transferring those over. So just let us know as soon as possible. So that way that team's not taking up a spot from somebody else. Jimmy, do you want to talk about the COVID protocols? Or?
Just quickly, everybody, I mean, we all know it's a changing atmosphere. We're hoping, keep our fingers crossed, we're certainly making plans that it gets no worse. And we're, as it says, hoping for the best, but planning for the worst. Currently, assuming nothing gets dramatically worse, then we're going to recommend masks. We're still going to require the off teams to leave the court area. just like it was last year. Details are on our website. We plan to stay on the schedule that's published, that Kim's got published, but obviously we don't control the facilities within the state that the host lease out. So we can see already or hear of concerns about schools not wanting outside groups in. That may change, I mean, on a week-to-week basis. So we're just gonna have to, just like we said last year, plan for change in the event that we have to. There's currently not going to be any spectator limitations as there was last year. We want players to bring their own water bottles, just a little bit of safety precautions. We'll still eliminate the handshakes and the high fives and stuff like that, just as a safety precaution. And then we'll make changes as we get closer to the season. But right now, that's the current plan. Kim? Question?
Sorry. Katie from Low Country asked if the tournament registration opening could align with the date the region recognizes club assignments.
I
think it's a little early for.
Yeah, Kim, I think that's November the 1st. And Kim and I'll talk about that since we're not on the 15th yet. We may consider doing that. But her and I'll talk about it and get it out soon.
Okay. And then Lauren wondered about ticket sales. Are we pre-ordering? Are we back to normal gate sales? Are we doing a mixture of both?
Yeah, I'll cover that, Kim. We are going to do pre-orders, or plan to. We're working on the details now. We just don't have the details worked out. So it will be kind of like similar to what we did last year, where it's pre-ordered, possibly prepaid. We're working on the details of what we can do without increasing cost too much on the administrative side. Ticket price, I'll go ahead and cover that and turn it back over to Kim, is listed here. So that's a little change, but we're seeing just some increases in facilities across the board. So we're having to adjust a little bit, and that's in line with the same with SAVL that's charging on their stuff. All right, Kim, I'll give it back to you.
Okay, the match protocol, this is similar to what we did last year as far as COVID goes. So only people allowed in the court area are going to be the two working teams. The two playing teams, the working crew, and then one person from the off team to monitor that match. Here's the tournament withdrawal deadlines and penalties. As you can see, this is also on our website on the tournament page. So especially if you're a new club director, new club, please take a look at these, make sure you're aware of them. Essentially, you want to notify us as soon as possible so that you don't get penalized if you have to remove a team. And these do apply whether or not you are paid for the tournament. So if you register a team, we assume that you are going to come. If you don't pay and you then withdraw, a week out, you're still going to owe the entry fee and whatever fine goes with that. So just make sure you review those and you know them so you don't get penalized for something.
Let me jump in, Kim. I just want to echo that for especially the new clubs. Make sure you read about tournament entries and what you can and can't do, because that's critical. You don't want to get fined where you've entered a tournament, you haven't paid, and you're thinking, oh, well, I hadn't paid, no big deal. It is. We're assuming that you're coming, and if you pass a deadline, you have to pay that money. So just make sure you understand that. Let's see. Kim, is there anything else? you want to do?
I think that's all. I just, again, if you guys have any questions or need help with anything as far as registration goes, just email me. It's tournaments@palmettovb.com.
Any specific questions, put them in chat and we'll try to cover it here in a minute. Louise, I noticed we're going to go back, jump back up to Louise. He's got on. Louise, are you on?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody.
There he is. This is Louise. He is our head guy for our officials, professional officials. So I'm going to turn it over to him just a minute. He'll give you a little recap of what he does and maybe times that you guys want to work as a professional official.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe during this time of crisis. Like Jimmy said, I'm the officials chair. So everything related to the officials, it comes through me, especially training. And then I work in conjunction with Mr. Richard Holsted with the assignments of officials. I'm going to give you an update really quick. During the past couple of years, we increased the amount of officials that we have. We currently have 155 officials. What we're trying to do is to conduct evaluations on our officials at least within a 3-year period. That's how we do it at the national level as well. I remember on the last meeting that we had, it was brought up to our attention that we can actually, and please, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, that we can actually conduct some online on-court training at the different clubs. When your club have a scrimmage, by all means, you can send me the information and I can have officials that can work your scrimmage, and then that will help us out. So we have more training facilities, and basically we don't put an official right away on the court on a regular match. So that will help us out a lot. I have a couple of meetings with our national officials, and we kind of divided the state, I mean, the way it is right now, like, upstate, Midlands, lower state. So we have national officials in those different places of the state. So I can send a raider and I can send a couple of officials to get training at your facility. Once I finish, I'm gonna put my name, my email, and my phone number. By all means, you can send me an email. The cost to the club, I talk to Jimmy because usually the raider, Jimmy usually cover the cost for the raider when we send raiders. So I can talk to Jimmy and we can talk about that. Thank you to whoever put the question. So any other questions related to that?
Anybody?
So this year we have 3 officials that they earn their junior national certification at the Girl Junior National Championship in Las Vegas. They were Corey Bray, Primic, the guy that we call the Polish guy. We love him to death. He earned his junior national certification. And Nikki Rousey. Nikki also earned her certification. We have between 8 to 10 officials actually from the Palmetto region working the junior national championships. Some of us got to work a championship game at different age levels. So we did really well this year in Las Vegas. And lastly, we usually, as officials, we have our yearly meeting. We will not have an in-person meeting this year. We're gonna have the meeting online. Basically the same thing you guys are doing. And like I said earlier, with your assistance and with your help, we plan to conduct all the on-court training, hopefully prior of the beginning of the season. For the most seasoned officials, we will conduct training throughout the whole season, and then you're gonna see raiders. Usually we do it at the 2-day events. You got a 2-day events at Rock Hill. You got a 2-day events in Charleston. And once again, this is subject to availability as well, because if we got too many courts and we don't have that many officials, then we won't have that many raters. And we will continue. And something that is really good is when we have head officials at the different tournaments. So we will continue to do that. By all means, if you got any questions, if something happened at your gym, I'm gonna put my phone number. You can text me, you can call me. It doesn't matter how early. I mean, if you call early and I don't answer, it's not because I'm sleeping. I'm probably at the gym. But by all means, hey, you call me and I will give you an answer. Sometimes you don't like the answer that you get, but yeah, I promise you I will give you an answer. That's all I got, Jimmy. Any questions, comments?
Luis, Lance had a question. He was wondering if there is a cost to the club if they bring officials in for training and certification.
I will visit that with Jimmy because I know, well, I don't want to answer that until I talk to Jimmy. Jimmy, I will visit that with you.
Yeah, what we'll do, Julie, you'll need to remind me, we're going to put out the how to do that in our director's desk, but we're going to take basically applications from clubs that would like to have, that would like to do us, that can do a scrimmage. Basically, you know, where you're going to do it, where's the gym, and then we'll approve X number preseason, which would be in December, to do that so that Louise can get some officials trained. We just can't do it for every single person because we'll have some expense. I've got a budget to keep the expense for the raters, the national officials going to rate the official. But we'll work out the logistics on it and everybody will get back with you. Any other questions for Louise?
No, this is not necessarily for officials, but Lance had another question. He said he's confirming if a facility will not allow us to use it without requiring masks for spectators or without spectator limits, we cannot use that facility, correct?
Correct. It is obviously the facility will take priority over our rules. So if they're requiring masks, then we'll note that on the tournament information and people will have to abide by it or not go. Okay. Louise, thank you. We'll be back in touch.
Okay, thank you. I will put my info. Have a great day.
Folks, handbook rules and penalties, I just encourage you to kind of skim over that. We are in the process of making some changes. I will say that we've made a major change this year. The boards, we've met numerous times concerning tryouts, contracts with clubs, a lot of stuff like that. And I encourage you to read that, especially on tryouts, which we'll cover here in a little bit, because there's been a major change there from how the region is. And we'll cover that in a little bit more detail. But I can tell you across the country, due to lawsuits here and there, we have had to take more of a backseat role on clubs because they're really independent businesses and we're really not named in your contract. So what we used to uphold players that were unpaid from the previous year, we're no longer able to enforce that legally. But what clubs are doing, and we highly encourage you to do this. For example, I know Kim said the upstate clubs, I'm pretty sure almost 100% of them agreed that if a director put a name out and said, hey, Sally Smith hadn't paid her fees from last year, that everybody was going to agree not to put Sally Smith on unless they want to pay the fee from last year. And there, there's probably some exceptions to that because there are, in the past, we've always looked at it when they had G process. So, sometimes the club didn't fulfill their promises. So, we waived some of the fees, but we're staying out of more of that. So bottom line, know your handbook. Here's the dates on the championships for Rock Hill. That's on the tournament schedule. I mentioned this, that, our championships is not something that we plan year to year. We actually have to plan these things out 2 or 3 years in advance. So this will be the dates that we have. It's usually the last weekend in March and the first weekend in April. And we do that because when you get past, and doing this for 30 something years, when you get into April or much further into April, you start losing interest quickly from players and having conflicts for spring sports. So it's difficult to keep teams together. Many of you that's been running for years know that, and that's the reason that we have them at this time frame. So we'll keep probably 2 weeks unless another large facility opens in the state that we're able to coordinate something on the same weekend. And that's something we may do in the future, but right now it's set for these weeks for the next few weeks. Sheila, we have introduced. Louise, we've introduced. Miss Kirsten has got probably the most important things you guys need to know.
Yeah, so getting into some of the membership requirements, and then I know Jimmy sent out an email with the link for club directors to get their memberships. We're going to get the website all completely updated so that all the adults, all your coaches and stuff can get theirs as well. I know the tryout one is already live on the website for the players. So for all of the adults for the teams, the new requirement is that they do background checks annually. And so it's now a $14 one. If you did the background screening last year, it was good for 2 years. So when you go in, it'll say it expires in 22. So you're set. So your system will automatically tell you if you need it or not. But if you did it last year, already paid the $30 last year, then it'll count towards this coming season. But if you are due for one, it's going to be a 1-year one.
May I interrupt just a second?
Yeah.
It's on my mind before I lose anybody. Folks, safe sport. Everybody's probably taking the clinic or taking the refresher, and you kind of, some of it's, I'm guilty of it too, is letting it go in one ear and out the other. But folks, unfortunately, we're seeing this on the rise. I cannot stress enough. You have got to talk with your coaches about the critical parts of what they can and cannot do. Touching, being alone with people. Just take this seriously. We have seen it in the region. I've seen it in other regions, and you just cannot imagine. You're thinking, well, this person will never do that, but it can happen. It is happening, and it's on the rise. So take that seriously and have a serious meeting with your coaches before the season starts. And a lot of clubs are putting in safety precautions of, you can't practice, you can't have private practice with somebody without others in the gym. They're going on travel. By all means, don't have kids in the room with a coach in discussions or talks without somebody else there. So I cannot stress this enough. We're in the middle of one now in the region, and it's sad, but it's real. It's real. Sorry, Miss Bosnick.
No problem. So yeah, along with the now annual background check, there's also an annual Safe Sport requirement. So yes, you will have to do something in Safe Sport every year. From what I've heard is that, your initial one is the core. It's a little bit longer. There is a refresher on year 1. I believe there's also going to be a refresher year 2, and then they might reset back to the core after 3 years. But there will be a requirement for everyone, and it'll automatically link in your account based on when you last completed it and kind of go from there. So there's those requirements, as well as for all the coaches. Coaches have to have impact. And so as a club director, you're not required to have it, but all of your coaches, to be listed as a rostered coach, they must have impact as well. That's free. It remains on their account for life. A few things that we run into. So say you had a coach a few years back, they're coming back into it. They haven't had a Sport Engine account. They've gotten married. Their name's changed. Just contact me about it, because we should be able to pull up their history of impact and stuff like that, so they don't have to do it again. But just reach out to me and I'll help you figure out what they might need to do or not as far as getting it linked up. So if you see something in an account and you're like, I know so-and-so took impact, let me know and I'll try to dig up the old records from WebPoint. We were talking about the memberships. So right now for the juniors, the only membership available is the tryout membership. We're not gonna, and since they're not allowed to commit, the region isn't letting them commit to a team until November 1st. And so the junior memberships will not be available until then as well. So they can get the tryout one. And then once we're allowing them to commit to a club, then the full memberships will be available to them.
And that's just an upgrade, folks. So they pay $15 for a tryout membership. The upgrade's $35. And then you have full membership, and then she'll explain how you get them connected to your club.
Yeah, so the tryout membership the fee for that would apply to the upgrade so that you're not double charging. So if you have someone that didn't attend tryouts at all and all of a sudden they get added late, they'll be charged the full $50. They don't have to get the tryout first. They can just automatically get the full membership. But if they get the tryout, that's already covered. All right, so that's kind of the membership requirement stuff. I guess we have the officiating listed here next. So that ties in, you access your officiating clinics through your Sport Engine account. And when it's time for those, we'll send out an email with all the instructions on how to get there. But the requirements for your team haven't changed. We need to have an adult that's completed the coaching officiating clinic, which will certify them for everything. It includes the R2, it includes the scoring, all that stuff. And then we need to have at least 2 of the players to be second referees, 2 scorers. Certifications are now lasting 2 years. That's automatically linked into their account. So when you go into, say, your own account and you go to the certifications, it should show, hey, it doesn't expire until 22. I'm all set. So that's automatically tracked as well. Yes, so Sue, your question, I've already been talking with USAV. It looks like we should be live with some stuff in the next week or so. So I'll be testing it out, but hopefully it will all be available by the time you are having tryouts. So hopefully before that, but I would say we should have it all rolling by the time you guys have tryouts so that it's available for all the players. All right, you have to have at least one of the work team. We have to have a rostered adult certified either at the table or working as the R2. So you have to have a rostered adult that is part of the crew or at the work table. So none of these things have changed. All right, you can keep scrolling, Jimmy.
Certifications, did you mention that? Good for 2 years?
Yep, good for 2 years.
Okay.
Yep. So the only stuff we have is it's only the clinic. So there's no on-court training certification process. It's all online. So you just have to complete the clinics. And then that's the requirement.
But we highly encourage you guys to do scrimmages in-house so that players that are inexperienced don't have shock when they go into a real match.
Yeah, and I mean, going through a scoring clinic is one thing. Scoring a live match is a whole different ballgame. So even if you just have, a couple kids rotate through as you're doing a scrimmage and just like, okay, you're going to sit this one out for a game to 15. Having them do it live is completely different, especially the younger kids that haven't done it. Once you get into the older groups, you normally have a kid or two that's done it for years. But really working with those 14s teams and stuff like that, where they haven't done it before, or if you've got, a parent that's willing to jump in and do it for you on the regular basis, stuff like that, it's great. And having your coaches understand how to do it is also key, because they need to be able to help the kids and protect them in those situations.
We encourage, especially younger teams, 14 and down, even the older ones, try to find a parent on a team willing to take the clinic and sit with the kids so that they learn it and they'll help them at the table.
Yep, it's a great idea.
Something that we do is we have our older players who are experienced come in and sit with our younger players. We do an in-house scrimmage for them, and we can train like 4 or 5 kids at a time on scorekeeping alone. So it's worked for us in the past. We typically have good results. FYI.
All right. So here are instructions on how to access the academy. Again, we'll be sending out screenshot instructions, all that stuff once everything's live and ready to go. But everything you access is through Sport Engine, and then you launch Academy via your Sport Engine account. That way it's linked to that person's account and it's not logging in separately. And then all of a sudden you get like mom completed a clinic that doesn't show up on daughter's registration, etc. So everything's through the account. Keep on rolling. Julie just sent out info on adding the Palmetto region as an admin for your HQ. It's a huge asset. I have zero access to your club unless you give us access to your club. I can see individual members, but I cannot see your governing season to be able to help you out with all the nitty gritty stuff of if there's an issue going on, and I can actually go in and be like, hey, you've got this kid on your roster twice, and I can shift it around and find the one that's attached to their membership, stuff like that. So in the director's desk, there's been some info on that from Julie. One of the biggest assets of Sports Engine is their help. And they have a need help on the right side of the screen when you're in Sport Engine, and they have millions of articles. I mean, they have an article on everything. Some of it is more helpful than others, but they have a ton of articles. And then as a club director, if you are linked as the club admin, you have access to a direct chat. It's not immediate all the time, but you can type in a question, ask Sport Engine, and they will get back to you. If you're not still live at the time, it will go to your email that's associated with your account, and you'll get a reply there. They have the most access to your account, obviously. And so they tend to be able to see what's going on better than even I am. That said, if you cannot get resolution from them, I am more than happy to help look into it and work with them. Sometimes I have different connections that might be able to go through a different avenue. But let's see. Yeah, like we don't have access to individual accounts. I can't change names. If people have in their profile different names or mom and dad, stuff like that, I don't have the ability to edit. So I'm having to go to Sport Engine as well. So it's a little different as far as keeping the privacy of the data with the owner of it. Same as last year, we'll have to send out invites to people to associate with your club once you've given them, offer them a spot in the club and they've confirmed. So that's a later down the road step. It's not the first step of offering them an invite to your club. That is we've already agreed, we're signing the contract. Okay, now let's get this formalized in the system.
Let me interrupt. I know some of the new clubs that we've got with us, this is Greek to you. But
Yes.
we are going to have another Zoom call going over the basics of this.
Yes. Yep. And we'll do some screen sharing and showing what it looks like and that kind of stuff. So
I'm sure a lot of you last year when we changed over freaked out too. Everybody did. It wasn't the easiest to swallow, but as you get used to it, it gets better. So anyway.
I also speak Sports Engine pretty well, so I'll throw out there. Anybody with questions can reach out to me. It's Lauren.
Yes, Lauren's a great asset as well. So she needs to be on that Zoom call helping me.
Yes.
But you guys also, you see things very differently in your club accounts. So even when you give me governing season access as an admin, I don't see your members individually. I see your USAV tab. And so I'm seeing a very select and small portion of your club. You're not giving me access to all of your member data, all that stuff. You're giving me access to the part that's linked with the rostering. And so your memberships and stuff like that. And so you guys see things very differently. And so having input from club directors, sometimes I have to reach out to them to figure out the answer for another club director on how to get things done. If you have multiple roles, so if you're a club director and you're also a coach in your club, we need you to do both memberships. It's free for the second one, but it gets you into that role. So it links to your account as needing impact as a coach and stuff like that. And so it's just clicking the membership link again and going through and answering this role is going to be coach instead of this role is club director. And that will automatically add so that you have that and can be added to the roster as a coach if needed. I think that's most of that stuff. Nothing's really changed on the overarching principles of the Sport Engine. They've been continually trying to update and make improvements. So there are slight differences in things, but as that rolls out and we get there, we'll try to send out as much information on any of those tweaks as we can.
Okay. I'm sure there's questions. She does a great job in responding to you guys. So her email is at members@palmettovb.com and send her stuff. And again, make sure we're admin on there so she can actually look on the screen while you're doing it, so she can get into the behind the scenes to see what your question is about and see if she can help fix it.
Kirsten, Leslie wants to know if the coach membership for club directors is live.
It is live. I think I need to work with Kim on getting the links updated on the website, and then we should be able to go from there. But they are, and I will work with Kim on getting that out to everybody.
Okay, folks. Anything else? We're moving right along. Tryouts. All I'm going to say is I'm not going to read through all our guidelines and new rules, but you read them. We've sent them out several times. They're on the website. It is a huge change in what the region does. And obviously we know that we've had clubs that did summer tryouts. That hand was pretty much forced on a trickle down effect from Carolina region over the border. So the ones that were affected did earlier tryouts. Honestly, nobody knows how that's going to be, pros, cons, the positives and the negatives until we get through this season, especially upcoming where the majority of you are still going to use fall tryouts. I will say this, I didn't pull it up, but I will send this link out of the survey that I did with membership. And if my memory serves me right, well over 80% of the families prefer a fall tryout. But again, I'll send that link out so you can read it. There's a multi-club tryout form. Kim, will you touch on that real quickly, please? If you're still around, you may be doing something with a baby. All right, we'll come back to her. Judy, text Kim and
I'm
tell
sorry,
her.
did you ask me for something, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Will you?
Sorry, what was that?
That's all right. On the multi-club tryout form, we're still using it, but
Yes.
touch on that.
Yeah, so the multi-club tryout form, that is for any players that are trying out for more than one club. It's on the region website. It's all digital. They do not need to fill out a paper form and bring that to you unless you just want them to this year. But there is a form for them to fill out under the juniors tab on the website. And then for club directors, you can see all the entries to that form under the club director section. And you should be able to go in and sort those by club. And I think I did it by city as well. So you can kind of sort and filter through the ones that are just relevant to you.
Thank you. club parent contracts, I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to tell you that we're getting out of the club contract police business, where, you know, so-and-so's said this on their website, they're recruiting, blah, blah, blah. We can't do it. One, it's almost logistically a nightmare. And two, legally, we can't. So we've changed that. I would just say that's still being processed and changed on the website. But I can just tell you that we are getting out a lot of the rules and fine business, and unless somebody's doing something illegal from the law, we're not going to be policing. Well, so and so said they're the best. Just, you know, it's almost impossible to uphold.
Jimmy, that being said, I know we have our new clubs on here, and that's for me, when I first started, it was kind of overwhelming to draft that contract. So if they need help with it, please just again reach out, and I'll be sending stuff out. But even existing clubs, if you need help with the verbiage on that, just to meet those guidelines, just let us know.
Yeah, and the contracts are a lot for your benefit protection. When I was I was of the 30 years, probably 20 plus years in club business. You want stuff in black and white as much as you can to answer as many questions as you can, because people's going to come back and say blah blah blah, and you've got it. You say, well, here's our rule on it inside the contract. So,
A couple of questions in the chat. Sue wants to know if it looks like the 2022 tryouts will be summer. I know you mentioned 80% or more prefer fall, so I think you're still leaving that at our discretion, but I'll let you answer that. And then Kim, the form from last year's multi-tryout thing is still active, so please make sure you deactivate it if you haven't already. Thank you.
okay. Kim, remind me about that later. For 2022, we probably have made the change where clubs make the choice of when they want to do tryouts. And we'll probably uphold that unless something significant changes. That is a trend going through the United States. Most regions have it. I'm going to a meeting in just a couple of weeks for a national meeting, and we'll be talking to directors then, but I mean commissioners, but the probably better than 50% of the regions now have their clubs do summer tryouts. The only thing we're asking, you know, we'd prefer the fall tryouts, but we're not policing it. And if you do summer tryouts, try to avoid the high school season as much as possible. We do have a good relationship with the high school league, and we certainly don't want to get into a war with schools or ADs. We'll lose, and you guys will lose. Anything else, Julie? Okay. Raphael.
That's it for now.
Okay. Raphael, you on?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Folks, this is Raphael. He is our director for our higher performance that has not taken place yet due to that COVID thing. We actually had one tryout. Was that in 2020, Raphael, I think?
That is correct, sir.
Yeah, we had one tryout done. It was well attended. I don't remember it. 100 something, 150 kids maybe. There's a bunch.
154.
Yeah. So I can tell you this is that there's the high performance in USAV typically means we will take teams in a group and send them off somewhere to compete. There are some reasons, and we've decided to do this, is rather than do that, since we're focusing on just a handful of kids, is we would prefer to have more in age groups and send them to a quote high performance camp that we will run in the summertime. So they, in short, they basically try out at one of these tryout sessions. We're planning to have 3. Raphael will tell you, and he'll tell you more about it. And then we'll have a camp in the summertime. But Raphael, you want to give your spiel about that?
Yes, sir. We're excited to have this year a high performance again. This year, we plan to ask the clubs to nominate coaches that will consider evaluating the tryouts. Please make sure that the coaches that you are going to nominate are seasoned coaches that will understand the method of the tryout, that they just gonna pretty much are gonna have to jump and get into it when we're there. The region is planning to have 3 dates for tryouts. Southern Classic Power, Friday 21st at 6:30. We're gonna send all that to you guys later. CSRA Heat Power, Friday, March the 4th at 6:30. And then a 3rd location and date that will be post-season. We're trying, still looking at the details are still on the works. I know that yesterday, Columbia International University asked for their gym to be the site where we're going to have the training for the high performance. Now, also on the other side, on the national side, I see it on the national director side too for the new NDTP. This is the only way that the kids will move up the ladder. They're not going to have tryouts anymore. The NTDP is going to lean heavily on the regions to get that. My importance and my goal is to have as many of our kids in these tryouts and in our camps, so they can use it as a trampoline to go to college or to move up the ladder in the volleyball. And that's about it. Any questions? Let me leave my phone number and my email there on the chat for any questions. And that's all, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thank you, Raphael. Guys, I just encourage you to encourage your top players in the different age divisions to participate in that. We do sink a fair amount of money into that. So the ultimate objective is they get a very high level training at this camp and exposure during the tryouts. Okay, Sue, you are on.
I'll keep mine nice and short. I know we're trying to get out of here as soon as we can. I just wanted to say there was a big push for outdoor this year, and I appreciate everybody that worked with me. I aggravated everybody a lot back in March, but we had very good results and we had a really great mix. We had some clubs that got involved. We got some tournament hosts that got involved. Huge participation and very good marks from all the parents. The parents were thrilled with everybody's. I didn't hear one bad thing about any tournament host. They were thrilled to get the kids out there. And I heard over and over again how much better the kids are getting. So I think most of us know what an important part the outdoor game plays in the volleyball IQ for these kids. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I really want you to let you know that I do want everybody's input. We've had a couple of great ideas going into next year. I know one of them, they've asked if we can have a central registration tab on the PVA site that will take us to each individual tournament, and we're going to work on that. Had a couple really good other ideas, but please reach out if you have ideas. If you would like to get on the schedule for next year for summer, let me know early, because I have a feeling we're going to get quite a few more. And I want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity if there is one. And we're basically trying to work with the adult tournaments. They're adding juniors, and also we'd like to have junior only events. And we were able to get anywhere. We had from Myrtle Beach down to Augusta, Greenville, I'm doing off the top of my head, Columbia, Charleston. We had a tremendous response. And I just want to thank everybody. And I really want to keep pushing in this direction, because I'm a big proponent of outdoor, and I think most of you are. Also, it doesn't affect, if they're still playing indoor, they can play outdoor, because there's no conflict. I try really hard to not have the bigger events on the bigger summer indoor events. So I'm trying to work with that too. But if anybody has any questions, please reach out to me. I appreciate everybody's help in this area. And I also appreciate everybody's really quick responses because that helped me make the schedule, which was a little, time consuming, but everybody with their timely responses really helped me, and also getting me tournament results. I have a spreadsheet with all the participation for all the tournaments, and I'll share that with the directors. I think I may have sent it like a month ago, but I have an updated version that I can send to any of the directors. If anybody has any questions, please reach out.
Thank you, Sue. Just a few more things, folks. Again, while we're wrapping up, if you've got questions, put them in the chat now so we can cover those before we leave. Hotel reservation plans we've already done with Sheila. Art of Coaching, many of you know this, probably, if not the best, one of the best coaching tools out in the marketplace. The region invests a pretty significant amount of money to offset the cost of that. I want to think the regular cost if a coach went to them is about $100 a year. With us, we pay everything except $10. But we are probably going to limit the number of coaches that we do that this year, possibly to about 100 or so. So that will be coming out pretty soon. If you want your coaches part of that, you can remit it and put them on there. I would ask you, if you got more than a handful, prioritize those from, I want this person first and this person last. So in case we have to limit it, we'll know on a sorting basis what we need to put in, but that'll be coming out in the next 30 days. So anyway, that's done. There is, some of you guys may not know, Al Stern is with the region back almost from when I started as a club director. He was on our board for a number of years. We created a memorial scholarship fund a number of years back, and that is still there where some individuals, it's a $5,000 account. We award up to $500 grants for people, and they can apply online. That information is on the website and you can find it there. And folks, that's the basics of what I had. Julie, do we have any specific questions?
Not that have popped up since I last shared.
Okay, anybody with anything else? Thank you for spending, hey, we got it done inside of 2 hours. That's great. Thanks for spending time. I do say, there's going to be a lot of stuff between now and time season starts up. For the most of you, you're just right around the corner to starting tryouts. I want to echo a couple of things. Kim mentioned the high importance it is to register your teams as soon as you've got a pretty sure knowledge that you've got a team set. Put them into AES so we can get at least a good count on how many we've got for specific dates. Even if you're not sure, you can always come back and withdraw them well before the deadline. But this gives us tremendous planning tools so that we know, how many teams we're looking at, because it looks like we're going to have a pretty big growth spurt with the number of new clubs on this year, and hopefully COVID on the downside. So it's going to be critical to put them in. And she did mention that payment is the part that determines whether you're in or not. But if two people pay on the same day, then the tiebreaker comes to when you register. So again, we would ask that you try to register as quick as possible. And the other thing I'd encourage you to do is make sure you keep up with the director's desk. That pretty much tells you 90% of what you need to know on a regular basis. So don't just let it sit in your inbox and hit trash to it. At least read the required reading that kind of keeps you up to date. Julie, anything else? Thank you, guys.
No, sir. That's it.
Okay, welcome to 2022. let's have a great season. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Good meeting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is Katie with Low Country. With the tournament registration, if we have to have 6 or more players on the roster to register for the tournament, that's where we need to have the membership aligned.
Yeah,
Membership.
shoot an email to me on that, Katie, and let me check.
Okay.
him
But
and-
Okay, it depends on how the settings are set up. So some tournaments let you set register without a roster, and some tournaments make you have a roster.
That's Kim and I talked about that, and I honestly don't remember what that came out, but we'll certainly keep that in mind for early on at least.
Okay, all right, I'll send an email. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Katie.
Mhm.
All right, folks, I'm signing off. Good night. Everybody
Bye, Jimmy.
have a great day.